December 2019. Thought I'd talk a little bit about the idea of perfection, being perfect, impressing others. And I think what people are conditioned to believe being perfect is, and there's many different departments and things that the word perfect or flawed could apply to. But I think generally speaking, perfect is used to refer to what society considers an ideal personal image, which is generally represented in the media, and you should know what that means. Having your hair done perfect in whatever style is popular. Hair shaming, like I get shaming people being bald because that's caused by doing stuff. They'll tell you something else caused baldness, but it's actually caused by hormone treatments for vanity. Unless somebody got really sick, but they're not going to tell you the real reason. They're going to give you a cover reason. Oh boy, I think I just touched something very delicate there. But, like, the way people bash on fashions or styles is really stupid and the height of vanity. Anyway, this is a talk about perfect, which is an incredibly vague and unfocused label. Gesturing with weird actorish mannerisms. You know how people on TV will act and gesticulate and wave their arms around weirdly, or their shoes and basically their costume, which is vanity. You'd get shamed for wearing something very plain and basic. Basically, that's shaming people that dress inexpensively and saying they're not as good as people that have the latest hairstyles from the salon and all of the hair products in them and the latest fashions and the most expensive designs. That's really dumb. Or makeup. That's just, you're not born with makeup, so it's vanity. Having cosmetic surgery, things that make people look like Uncanny Valley real life Barbie doll things, and having a perfect home, as in some really fancy mansion that the inside looks like it came out of a catalog. It doesn't look like a home that people live in. A perfect job. Good luck with that. Oh, you should know that the so-called best jobs that are low effort and high pay, only freaks get them, and they got a price to pay to get those jobs. It kind of is like an MLM in a very different way, kind of. It has a few similarities, I guess. I'm not qualified to even get into that. I'm just talking about ideas about perfection and what society tells you is perfect and the way popular people try to be perfect according to this definition. But what's perfect to God and to Jesus is to just be a normal, ordinary, humble human being that recognizes your flaws and shortcomings and strives to change them. To be perfect is to just, not sin, to be respectful, to be respectable. And I don't mean respectable as in rich, wealthy, influential, important as far as society is concerned, but to just treat people well, to be honest and fair with all of the things you do. Don't steal, don't lie, don't manipulate, don't take advantage of others. It would take a lot of effort for me to compose some thoughts on how we live in this society with a predatory mindset and we're told to compete and to be the best. The idea of being perfect is to be the best, like the best athlete or the best author or the best designer or the best artist, the best chef, things like that. And something that I've always noticed from elementary school and in the media would be, especially around the time of the Olympics. Now, I don't pay any attention to sports, but sometimes sports things get shoved into my face, so that's my exposure to them. Is, some names of Olympic athletes, like, I think Michael Phelps is one name that comes to mind. You know, that guy that looks like a dolphin and he's got these weird bodily proportions and really weird broad hands and broad feet. When was the last time you've heard of him? If you look up any kind of sports history, you're just going to find all these names that you haven't heard of in a while. Names that were very popular for about 4 years, and then all of a sudden it's like that person ceased to exist. Oh man, just look up names like Babe Ruth and just look at him and go, that guy's supposed to be famous? Okay. He looks like any normal guy on the street. Just these, I guess instead of 15 minutes of fame, they get 4 years of fame, and then they cease to exist. Anyway, I remember in elementary school, my classmates, especially the so-called boys that were actually just like me, but they had some that they're not supposed to have, and they're also the majority. If they were popular and respected by their peers as being good athletes, when times for doing reports on various historical figures would roll around, the sports martins would they would compete with each other to see who gets to do the report on some famous sports figure from history. And I kept my mouth shut, but I was thinking, what's so amazing about these historical athletes? Now, today I know that all historical figures are fake, but the athletes are even more boring in retrospect, because even though everything is fake, at least some things are a little more exciting and interesting than other things, even though at the end of the day it's all fiction. And I just thought, what is so interesting about some baseball player? What's so amazing about a football player? Well, the sports martins really wanted to do reports on these figures and would kind of fight each other over who got to pick what historical figure to do a report on. Yeah, I don't know how to talk about the competitiveness in society exactly. I guess these topics are too vague and broad, but anyway, when it comes to perfection, all you have to be is good enough. You don't need to be a wordsmith to make a legible short story or an legible post, or to just write something that people would enjoy reading. You don't need to be Caravaggio or Albert Dürer to make a drawing that people enjoy. You don't need to be Gordon Ramsay to make a dinner that your family would enjoy. You just need to be good enough, and having your heart in the right place is good enough. You don't need to impress people or look like some airbrushed figure on TV.